well, how do there, chums? As I, Captain Stephen, today, chums, for you guys in the viewerverse, I have got my top tips video on how to get through the Emergence expedition. This is Expedition 4, No Man's Sky. Yes, and these are my top tips. So before you actually leave the starting planet, Planet Wasan, the one you start on, I would strongly suggest that you pick up the ancient bones, because I didn't see them on any other planets as I was doing my jumps. So this has got the ancient bones on, and there is actually an expedition mission under Phase 4, and it's this one right here, the Lost Children, that you need to pick up 16 ancient fossils. Now, early on, you're not going to have a lot of storage space, so just go dig up the bones, and then after you dig them up, you can actually throw them away, and it doesn't get rid of your counter. Also, you need to do these two. So resist the flames, so when there's an extreme storm, just let your hazard protection go all the way down to 0. Stand by a cave or something, or a building, so you can duck and dive. And also embrace the flames, so when there's an extreme storm, you've just got to walk around. Now, jumping, it doesn't count, so don't do your melee strafe or anything like that. Just run around inside of an extreme storm. Now, you're probably going to need to negate the storm, so you're going to need ion batteries. I'll give you tips on how to make a shed load of ion batteries during this video, so stay freaking tuned, chums. Yes, there's lots of tips coming at you on this one. So yes, after you've done those, then you're okay to leave the planet. So that's these first 3 badges here, finding your ship, and then sort of sending off into space. Leave the planet. But don't leave the planet till you've done your bones and you've done those 2 heat ones. You'll trust me, you're going to thank me for it later. But after you've done a jump, I believe, and warped once, you can then call in the Nexus. After you call in the Nexus, go speak to Polo inside the Nexus and get the Atlas coordinates and go into the red, this one here, and select that mission. Selecting that mission should help trigger the actual summoning of the actual Nexus as well, or the anomaly, whatever you want to call it. And then yes, afterwards you're going to be able to construct the visceral synthesizer. Now the visceral synthesizer lets you pick up some of the new items inside of game. Talking about new items inside of game, so that's the visceral synthesizer. And these things next to it are the vial spawn, and you're going to need 3 vial spawns. So there you go, visceral synthesizer. You need that to pick up the vial spawns that you get from these new sort of enemies, which I'm going to show you in a second. So that's the vial spawn there. And yes, you're going to need 3 of those to complete another milestone and badge, which is over here. So there you go, gather 3 vial spawn. But you can only pick them up if you've gone into the Atlas and you've spoken to the Atlas and got the plans and then made yourself one of those vial synthesizer type things that you can pick them up with. Okay, so new icons in game. These ones here are the Titan worm sort of burrows. These are the nests for the Titan worms. You're going to come across, they're sort of little babas, and they're not all that little. When you actually get to them, they might look a little intimidating. I mean, look at the size of them. They're beautifully animated, I must say. But if you get in nice and close, you can melee them to death. Yeah, they can actually still hit you, or the one behind this one is probably hitting me. But there you go. There's the vial spawn. They do despawn quite quickly, so make sure you pick them up quickly, but you're going to need that synthesizer before you can pick them up. Chicka-boom! Die you! But yes, you can kill a lot of these. There's a mission to kill about 36 of these things, but you only have to pick up 3 of the vial spawn eggs. So don't worry, you can come back and do this at any stage. If you don't want to do it in the order that I'm describing and going into the old Atlas and doing that sort of stuff, you can just come back to one of these sort of rendezvous planets. Pretty much every rendezvous planet has these worms on as well, chums. So yes, don't worry if you progress in, because yeah, you are going to get these new things, these flesh rope. Now, I haven't needed to use a flesh rope during the whole of the quest line. However, they do sell for a lot of units, so they do come in handy to sell at the station and buy your microprocessors. Or, if you've already done that and you don't need the units, you can just throw them straight inside of here. So here we go, let's grab some of those, there they are, the fleshy rope, and we can turn them straight into nanites. And look how quick they spawn into nanites. Chicka-boom! Heck yes! Awesome! So there is another actual badge to get a shed load of nanites. So yeah, if you want to spin other things into nanites, those sort of vial spawns as well spin into nanites super duper quick. Look at that, I'm going to get another 250 just for that little stack. Heck yes, nanite rich in moments. So this could be another good way to farm nanites, and it's actually quite good fun killing those things, watching them pop into green snot. There we go, stick that into there. But yes, they're worth units, they're worth nanites, so they're quite a useful resource and commodity inside of this update. Heck yes, and in this expedition. Another new icon is the cursed dust. Yes, so this cursed dust deposits are left behind by the Titan worms, so only found on these Titan worm planets. If you use your terrain manipulator off to a side, shrink your beam by using L1 or the D-pad. I think you press left on it to shrink it down. But here you go, on PlayStation you do anyway. I'm digging out some of this, but you can see here I'm getting hit by an extreme storm. Digging down into it, I can then sort of harvest it from underneath and take less damage from the actual storm. In fact, it negates the damage from the actual storm eventually. Now, if you do need to make the ion batteries, like I was saying earlier, when you are underneath the ground, you should get different things appearing on your scanner that you don't normally get when you're on the planet's surface. So here we go, let's just dig a bigger hole. Let's get into this cave a little bit further. And then when I bring up my scanner, what I'm looking for is something like submerged relic or humming sac or whispering, yeah, that sort of thing. So let's just dig, or albion pearls or whatever. So here we go, let's just dig a little bit further in. Come on, I need to get into this cave. Lovely job. Right, so now I'm into this sort of area here. This helps me find an actual natural cave. So I'm going to select the humming sac. It's an underground object. That only spawns inside of a cave, so I know that there is now a cave just 70 U's away from me. And there's loads of caves on this planet, so it's nice and easy to find them, but using this method really does help. Now what I would say is now you're underneath the ground, you're not affected by the storms. I'm going to harvest a shed load of cobalt from actually these little spiky dudes hanging from the ceiling, and because I'm protected from the storm and protected by pretty much everything on the planet that can actually hurt me, which trust me, this planet hurts. This planet hurts a freaking lot. I can now just stick down my little refiner, my portable refiner, and I can refine whatever I want inside this cave. And while I'm actually refining, I can then just harvest a load more cobalt. And yeah, you just mix a bit of cobalt with a little bit of ferrite dust, which you get from shooting rocks, and there you go, look at that. I can make a shed load of ion batteries while I'm in this cave, chums. So yeah, use your caves as like a mini base. Heck yes, underground cave base, cavey davy. And here we go, I'm going to stick down a portable refiner right now. There we go, let's stick this here. Chicka-boom. And you know that stuff that we just got, the cursed dust, that also changes to nanites, but it's going to take a little while. So let me find the cursed dust. Where are you, cursed dust? There you go, I've got 800 cursed dust. That's going to turn it into 400 of this stuff, this slimy, goopy residue goop. Lovely. And after that's changed into that, you can then get the viscous sort of fluids, and you can put that in there, and you just keep refining basically. Just keep sticking it from one end into the other, and it's going to turn into living slime next. It does take a good freaking time though. It's not as quick as the other stuff. Heck no, it's not. So yeah, while this is going though, you know, we've got 4 minutes in between sections for 800 turned into 400 because it's 2 to 1. Yeah, I can run around the cave. I can blast a load of cobalt. So here we go. Let's stick that into there. Chicka-boom. And, you know, while this is actually spinning up into the runaway mold, we're near into the final stages now. Again, I could be running around and harvesting a load of cobalt while I'm down here, or whatever else the cave has got up to offer. I can pick up all the albion pearls because they sell for quite a lot as well from the humming sacks. And here we go. We're reaching into the final stage now. So runaway mold should now spin into nanites. Let's just put this from one side into the other side, and yeah, we're all good to go. So here we go, another 3 seconds, 2, 1, and bing, bugger done. Heck yes, stick that into there, and for 400, I'm only going to get 80 nanites. So you've got to sort of balance this out. Is it really worth your time in spinning up all the cursed dust? Probably not. Now you're going to need a lot of cursed dust, so make sure you mine a lot of the cursed dust. You're going to need cursed dust when you go up to see the Atlas to get that synthesizer. It's going to need some cursed dust for that. Only 16, but get extra. Get extra because you're going to need that to create the actual synthesizer as well. You're also going to need larval cores, and you get larval cores from each of the rendezvous points at the abandoned buildings. And I'll show you a quick way on how to harvest those sort of larval cores. So stick with me because that's coming up soon. But here you go, there's the mission there that needs all the nanites. So use that, and you can see there you're going to get some more runaway mold and all sorts of other stuff. Lovely and jubbly. Now you are going to be given Nautilin plans, but you know what? I think you can do all the underwater elements just by swimming. I don't think you really need to build the Nautilins. That's another little tip there. And if you are looking for Hadal cores at any time during this mission, which I had to, yes, I needed about 3 of the things or something. Yep, you need to actually swim down. If you look for 2-star objects like this, submerged relic, they didn't used to give Hadal cores in the past, but they've been updated, so they now do. So yeah, And yeah, apparently it happened a few updates ago and I didn't know about this. So this is a new tip that I'm sharing here that was shared to me inside of my live chat by, I believe, Beeblebum, and also a few other people actually confirmed this to me. And also, a lot of these tips came from my live chat as well. It's like I didn't know which planet to go to find the ancient bones. Beeblebum hit me up on that. And then another user actually confirmed that as well inside of my live chat. So thank you very much, people from my live playthrough and series. I'm going to put my live playthrough and series in the top right hand corner of the screen now. So if you do want to watch that all the way through, it's about 4 hours in total that this whole expedition took me. So it's not a very long playlist, really. And here you go, I've run out of storage space again. So knowing what to actually spin into nanites and when actually does help quite a lot. Because all of that sort of rope stuff that you've got from killing those little freaking baby worms, yeah, spin all that into nanites because you don't need those. Okay, so here we go, let's go into here. But what I would say is don't spin your larval cores into nanites, the ones that you get from the abandoned buildings. Not all of them anyway, because you're going to need a bunch of them to actually use for objects during this actual quest line. But the Hadal cores and pretty much everything else, yeah, you can use those. I think you need about 3 Hadal cores for something as well. So yeah, just reserve yourself a couple of them. But any surplus, spin into nanites. Another mention is in the actual starting system, where planet Wano is, or whatever it was, the first one you start on. In the station, there is this lovely looking multi-tool. It is a B class, but it's quite a nice alien multi-tool. The only thing is by the time you leave the planet, you've probably got a few extra modules already in your lovely starter multi-tool. So do you want to swap? Up to you. Right, so now some tips on getting some larval cores from the abandoned buildings. Now, you used to be able to put down a base computer and put an enclosure around one set of the eggs, like some walls, and it would stop the creatures. Now, they seem to pass through the freaking walls. Yeah, so that's not a thing anymore. So the way that I do it is just get your terrain manipulator, aim directly at the freaking eggs, it doesn't really matter, they're not going to despawn or disappear, and just dig around underneath the eggs. Now it does help to have like a well sort of thing with this, like little lips, and then a deeper section inside of the ground. So there we go, I've made like a funnel, like a cone. Now if you stand down here, you should be able to shoot the eggs from underneath. I'm going to use my scatter blaster, and boom, it's going to be raining larval core. There we go. And it's going to roll down to the lowest point. So just follow the egg down and then just pick it down up in the lowest point. So here we go. Now what I could do is just stand in this lowest point, and if I'm a crack shot and dead eye shot, I can just shoot the egg from here. And you know what? The little monstrosity gits, they don't actually come down underground. It makes no sense. I know they came from under the ground. You'd think they'd be fine with going under the ground, but no, they just stay on the surface. I guess they haven't been programmed AI-wise to follow you into a hole. Makes it nice and easy. So just do this on all the different egg clusters, and yeah, easy peasy, easy pickings, lovely jubbly. Just be careful when you exit. You might want to wait till they subside and disappear. So now this brings me on to one of my final tips, and I think this is one of the better tips. So congratulations if you stayed with me all this time. You're going to get one of the bestest tips right now. So if you've already done the previous expeditions, you can go in to claim the rewards right from the word go of finding the Nexus, which if you've already called in the Atlas station like I was talking about earlier doing the Atlas mission, then you should be good into the red. Heck yes, you should already have the Nexus or the anomaly to do this. Just claim your free ship. Why the fudge not? And there's a fair few that you can choose from, especially if you've done the Twitch drops as well, which I have. So if I pop into Twitch, well, I've done some, I didn't do all, but yeah, I've got a couple down here that I can now pick up also. So yeah, there we go, there's a few more ships, and down at the very bottom of this list, I've got a choice of a lovely fighter, I've got myself an explorer, or that thing, a shuttle, yes, or another hauler, oh gosh. But yeah, I've got myself the Golden Vector. The Golden Vector's pulse drives are pretty darn freaking awesome. I mean, you could go through the ships and look for the one that's got the best warp engines, because you are going to do a lot of warping. Yeah, to get to the different rendezvous points, there's a lot of jumping to be done. So go for the one that's got the best sort of warp drive. So yeah, maybe I should have gone for the Explorer, if that's the sort of thing that you want to go for. But you know, the choice is yours out there in Viewerverse. I mean, I like this one mainly because all the technology slots are pretty much unlocked. It's pretty freaking beefy, isn't it? It's pretty OP for a ship that you get for free. Heck yes, helps with any expedition, that one. So there we go. That's everything for you guys out there in the Viewerverse, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.